Hi everyone, today let's get straight into these charts, which again held up today right at resistance. Do me a quick favor and like and subscribe and watch the video till the end to help out the channel, and let's get started. So Fear and Greed Index was at a 24, it was at a 24 yesterday, a week ago was at a 27, so bearish markets. Still saw a slight bounce here, still holding above that 125 EMA. Strength back to neutral, it was in neutral yesterday. Fear continues to trend lower, and then you can see put call ratio, extreme fear. Volatility has pulled all the way back down to a 20, back into neutral territory, and then no movement here on bonds, still extreme fear. Moving over to max pain here, you can see max pain was 448. This is for the NASDAQ here. You can see 450. 50 was the price. Total option 700,000. Put call ratio right in that one zone. So got a normal finish right in the middle here. Neutral finish. Pretty interesting as we start to hit that resistance area. We'll see if that continues into that downtrend next week or not. Super critical, but a pretty neutral finish for this week after the really tough start we saw at the beginning of the week. And then moving over to the charts here, you can see we dipped in the pre-market. If it was going to break, it was probably going to do it here. Held that 21 EMA, bought, but then it held that level, rallied up, hit the 144 EMA, expected to hit that zone. We expected bullishness because of that momentum on the daily chart, so we did get the bullish momentum there, up about 0.5%. But now we filled the gap, which is interesting. So we filled the gap back to Friday, look to see if we can fill this gap back to Thursday of last week. But clearly that 144 EMA here on the hourly is being resistance at 532.97. Above that, you got 535.72. So we'll see how it plays. Right now, still bullish structure, but right at resistance. And you can see that daily chart. Similarly, bullish momentum, bullish RSI, but clearly at a resistance point. Waiting to see how much higher we go. I still think this is going to break down eventually. But right now, this is a short-term bullish trend, and I think we might retest some of these upper levels, potentially all the way up to 540. And then moving over to those tasty charts here, you can see we are hitting that 55 EMA on the 4-hour chart. That's your resistance, 533.30. Still bearish conditions here, but rallying up against it. Basically no volume there as well, so that's a little bit concerning. Doesn't mean we can't get to that next resistance at the 89, which would be 537.55. And you can see the ATR bands are actually trending sideways. Lower ones trending up a little bit, upper ones trending down just slightly. So that would give you consolidated price action, which makes sense. No clear direction quite yet. And then moving over to the NASDAQ here, you can see moving lower in the pre-market, catching the 21, rallying up 144 EMA, basically the same pattern. 450.33 is that level. I have a level there as well at 450.40. So throwing a bunch of pins of resistance there. Momentum, slightly bearish, RSI, still technically bullish above the SMA there. And then looking at the daily chart, you can see 0.5% up on the day, momentum stepping back to bullish. 9 EMA just below current price at 449.46. If this breaks, the next level is 454.40. You can see we've well filled that gap back to Friday. Will we fill it back to Thursday here? The low from that Thursday price action is all the way up at 459.76. And then moving over to the tasty charts here, you can see that 55 EMA continuing to be resistance on the 4-hour. That's at 452.39. Just barely missed it at 452.06. And then we did pull back slightly from there. Again, not huge volume, continues to grind up to that ATR trailing stop, which is at 453.69. So that's your resistance. Waiting to see if we can push through that. That's about another 0.75% higher from here. And then we'll see if it rejects from there. If it does, we're probably headed back down to these previous lows, back in the 425 area. Moving over to the Russell and the Dow. The Russell was actually down 0.21. The Dow was up 0.16. Momentum on both, still same thesis, swinging back to bullish. Russell, honestly, I thought it was going to do a little bit better, at least touch that 55 EMA at 207.64. Didn't do it. 9 EMAs all the way up there at 210. Still holding this consolidation, but looks a little weaker than I would have guessed. And then the Dow, just barely missing that 9 EMA at 396.72, but it's above the 55 here. Momentum still looks okay. Next level is 398.76. Moving over to the Mag 7, strong day here, 1% higher. Momentum continues to swing to bullish. RSI bullish. Still volume continues to fail a little bit. I think we're going to hit that 21 EMA there. That's at 260.25. That gives you about $6 higher from here, or another 3% or so. So everything still continues to look bullish. Filled the gap to Friday. If we hit the 21 EMA, that would fill the gap back here to Thursday, and then we'll see what happens after that. Moving over to Apple and Microsoft. Look at Apple. Absolutely crushing markets, 1.37% to the upside, momentum bullish, RSI crossing back to bullish, 21 EMA at 220.63. That would also give you well past the gap fill from Friday. That would be at 218.90 or so, a little bit higher, 219.15. So a little bit more room there. I think this has got some more upside. And then looking at Microsoft, 9 EMA, touch that, still hovering at the 200. This just really cannot get going. So I think it's getting pulled up by markets, and as long as markets are okay, this will be okay. But as soon as this starts to turn, I think Microsoft has some more downside in it. Overall, technicals are still in the same as everything else. Momentum stepping towards bullish, RSI above the SMA. Still think we're in the short-term pullback, but eventually we're going to see this roll back down. Moving over to Meta and Amazon. Meta continuing to be very bullish, 1.6% to the upside. 520.31 is the level. Think we're going to get there. We can extend out this trend line, see if we can get to that. That's all the way up at 540, right at the all-time highs. Momentum bullish, RSI bullish. Meta continues to look very strong. And then Amazon, 0.69, still can't get above that level, 167.06. Looks very similar to Microsoft in its structure. It's hanging in there, but not doing great. Moving over to staples and discretionaries. Here you got staples up 0.15, discretionaries 0.33. Similar to Amazon and everything else, you can see discretionaries just cannot get above the level. Momentum hanging in there, continues to swing to bullish. RSI not quite there yet. Clear area of resistance. Again, hanging in there. I think it's waiting for that resumption lower. Hasn't even filled the gap, continues to look pretty weak. Whereas staples, positive day, continuing to grind towards that 79.90 level. Moving over to breadth, 20-day breadth did step up slightly, 4%, but look at 50-day. Strong push, a little stronger than I would have guessed. Both of them were positive. We did think that was going to happen with the step down on momentum yesterday, another step down towards that bullish side again today. RSI is going to be critical here on that Monday session. Is it going to push past the SMA or is it going to reject from there? Next level for 50-day is 62.25 and then 20-day 51.75. I think it's probably got at least one more push. Whether it holds that gain or not, we'll see. I think that RSI SMA is going to be an issue. Moving over to the dollar, similar to everything else, hitting that 144 EMA yesterday, hitting that level again today, continues to downtrend. Is this going to continue this medium-term downtrend? I think it probably will. We had 3 days in a row bullish. Next step was slightly bearish. Momentum hasn't gone with it yet, but this does seem to be respecting that 144 EMA here, hitting that resistance. It is worth noting on the 1 hour RSI, it is just barely above the SMA, but you can see we've done that before. This continues to downtrend. Interesting here, consolidation of EMAs, testing that zone. Rejected once, probably going to reject again. And then we'll see what happens from there. Support is 102.98, so not too much lower. If that breaks, there's a lot of room down to that 102 area. Moving over to bonds, J&K did not move really at all. Ton of volume there, which is interesting, with not a lot of movement. It'll be interesting to see what that results in, if it has some more up move in it. You can see momentum is swinging to bullish, but the candle was bearish just by a little, 0.02. Tried to rally, rejected off the 21 EMA. Not a whole lot changing there in terms of structure. And then similarly here on TLT, structure completely the same. Big move up, clearly overbought, sold off, holding the higher low. And then we got a rally here right to that 96.50 level. About 1% up move, RSI back to bullish. If this pushes to the trend, that would give you 98.60. And then above that, still I think we're going to touch that 100 level. Still like this as a medium-term uptrend. And these highs have been very strong pushes. Moving over to volatility, move index continues to fall, makes sense. And then looking at the VIX here, this one is a little bit more interesting. We broke through that 9 EMA. We're in this consolidation of trend lines here. 21 sitting there at 19, momentum stepping down, RSI stepping down. So based on technicals, it needs to hold this zone. Otherwise, it's probably headed back to 14 and potentially as low as the 12 area again. If it bounces from here, then we're probably headed back up into the 30s. So critical zone here. Could get a wick on Monday, wick rejection from this zone. So a little bit more rally, test some of those areas, and then we see equities start to crater back down, giving the VIX a little bit more room to the upside. This is an important zone on the VIX. We've fallen right to it to close out the week, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays on the Monday. Moving over to my accounts, I held pretty much all my positions, rolled out here on the IWM to 204, for $2.82 credit. Wanted to stay in the money there just because the Russell looked kind of weak going into the end of the session. So staying in the money, giving myself some protection. Max profit's only about 50 cents higher from here. So pretty cautious there. And then on the Qs, moved down to 200 shares, rolled out to $4.49 for a small credit. Still $3.80 on that position. Made some money finally. I think this is the first day I've made money all week. Terrible week of trading for me, but hopefully we can get back into it. Still looking for a little bit more push on Monday. If it starts to crater, I'm going to take these positions off, as I do think this medium-term downtrend is going to resume. But right now we are in that retracement move, and I want to play that as long as we have it. Let me know down in the comment section what you think of the charts this week. Can this up move resume? Are we going to break those downtrends and get back into that longer-term uptrend? Or has that broken? Have we seen the top? And is this just going to produce a lower high and lower lows to come? Let me know down in the comments. And if you got any value out of this video, make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.